The morning sun cast a bright glow over the barracks, signaling the start of another day for the men of the United States Marine Corps platoon. Sergeant Carter, a man whose presence was as commanding as a thunderstorm, stood tall in the center of the room. He addressed his men with a stern expression, his voice firm and unwavering as he prepared to deliver his instructions. He announced that he would be attending a non-commissioned officer seminar in the city of San Francisco, beginning the following day. He emphasized that he would be away for a total of 4 days and expected the platoon to maintain its high standards of discipline in his absence. He warned them that any thoughts of treating the next 4 days as a vacation should be dismissed immediately. He had already requested a replacement from headquarters, a corporal who was known for being a dedicated, hard-nosed, and disciplined Marine. This new corporal would be in complete charge, ensuring that everything remained in perfect order. After he finished speaking, the platoon members prepared to dismiss. Gomer Pyle, a young Marine with a heart as big as his enthusiasm, approached Sergeant Carter. Gomer kindly mentioned that he had a married cousin, Mary Lou Kissinger, who resided near San Francisco. He explained that her husband was a butcher and that she was a wonderful cook. Gomer suggested that if Sergeant Carter had any spare time, they would be honored to host him for a meal. Sergeant Carter, clearly in a hurry, dismissed the suggestion, stating he would be far too busy. Undeterred, Gomer continued to provide details, even noting the route number and the approximate distance from Washingtonville, but the sergeant remained focused on his departure. Later, Sergeant Carter met with Harry at the base. He questioned whether the new corporal was truly as tough as he had demanded. Harry assured him that the replacement was exactly the kind of disciplined leader the platoon needed. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Duke Slater, a former member of the platoon who had returned to the base. Sergeant Carter was taken aback to learn that the new corporal he was expecting was none other than Duke Slater. The sergeant, who remembered Duke as a notorious slacker, was deeply frustrated. He insisted that there must be a mistake and expressed his refusal to leave his platoon in the hands of a man he considered a professional goof-off. Despite Sergeant Carter's protests, Duke Slater remained calm. He explained that he had undergone a complete change in attitude, having completed leadership school with exceptional results and graduating in the top 10% of his class. He pleaded for a chance to prove his growth, promising to handle the platoon with the seriousness the position required. After a tense exchange, including a rigorous questioning session where Duke demonstrated his technical knowledge, even correcting the sergeant on a minor detail regarding a sidearm, Sergeant Carter begrudgingly agreed to let him take charge. However, the sergeant issued a strict warning. There would be a formal inspection upon his return, and if everything was not perfect, Duke would lose his rank. Once Sergeant Carter departed, Duke returned to the barracks. His former comrades were surprised and delighted to see him, especially in his new role as their corporal. Duke, attempting to maintain his authority, reminded them that he was now their superior and that discipline would remain a priority. He set to work immediately, trying to enforce the same rigor they were accustomed to. He organized drills and pushed the men to perform, but he struggled to balance his new responsibilities with his previous friendships. The situation escalated when the men grew tired of the relentless schedule Duke imposed. In a moment of frustration, the entire platoon reported to the sick bay, leaving Duke alone in the barracks. When he was later questioned by an officer about the whereabouts of his men, Duke felt the weight of his failure. He confided in Gomer, admitting that he felt like a fraud and believed he lacked the natural leadership qualities to guide a platoon. Gomer, ever the optimist, offered heartfelt encouragement. He reminded Duke that leadership was about authenticity. He suggested that Duke's mistake had been trying to imitate the harsh style of Sergeant Carter instead of being himself. Inspired by this perspective, Duke decided to stop trying to be a different person. That evening, as the men grew reflective about the upcoming return of their sergeant, they saw Duke working alone, cleaning the windows of the barracks to ensure everything was perfect for the inspection. Moved by his dedication and recognizing that they had not been fair to him, the men of the platoon joined him. They worked together, not because they were ordered to, but out of a newfound respect for their corporal. When the officer returned later that night and saw the men voluntarily polishing the barracks, he was impressed by the display of initiative. The following day, when Sergeant Carter returned and conducted his inspection, he found the barracks in impeccable condition. He was genuinely surprised to see that Duke had succeeded in maintaining order. As the men expressed their admiration for the work Duke had done, Sergeant Carter allowed himself a rare moment of concession. He acknowledged that the platoon was in excellent shape and that Duke had proven his capabilities as a leader. By staying true to himself and earning the genuine respect of his men, Duke Slater had not only saved his rank, but had also secured his future as a Marine. The ordeal ended on a positive note, with a shared sense of accomplishment and a deeper bond among the members of the platoon.